Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Ramblin Reviews, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Father Ted. So we are, because welcome back to the James Ramblin Reviews. Today I'm talking about Father Ted, and if you're wondering why I did an Irish accent, is because this is actually a sitcom with like Irish characters in it and stuff like that. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because recently I finished watching the series. I spent a bit of time watching it because I was obviously watching other things, doing other things, watching other films, so gave myself just enough time to watch it, sit through it casually. Ended up finishing the last episode last night, and so that as well. For a bit of context, one of my friends that I met last year when I started doing this course, right, I don't need to go into too much detail about the course, but he actually recommended this series to me, Father Ted. He really was giving me that opportunity to go ahead and watch it, and I have to thank him for that opportunity because it really is a solid series, and we'll get into how I felt about it in a minute. But just so you know what Father Ted is about, it's a 90s sitcom where it started in 1995, ended in 1998, and it is 3 seasons. It was broadcasted to the worldwide universe on Channel 4. And so what you've got here is you've got this like kind of series where you've got these 3 priests. You've got Father Ted, Father Creeley, and there's this character called Dougley, I believe, and then there's also this woman that makes a cup of tea for them as well, Mrs. Doyle. Mrs. Doyle, that as well. There's quite a few characters in the show, I should say. So there is that, but pretty much they're on Craggy Island. There's 3 priests. They get into these silly, strange, ridiculous situations where, like, the first season there's like a whole episode with a sing-along with Elvis, and then there's a Eurovision competition, and there's all of these things. And so you've got that. You've got actors in here like Dermot Morgan, may he rest in peace, as he passed away as the show wrapped up like in 1998, so rest in peace to him. I really think Dermot Morgan really is really good as Father Creeley in the show. And what's really good about this series is, it is one of these shows where it is just pure comedy gold. It just goes for it. It just tries to be entertaining. It's not trying to make you think. There wasn't like a big high scale budget or anything. They just went for it. They had fun when they made it. And Graham Linehan and Arthur Matthews or whatever, right, they as well, when they wrote the script and they produced the series, they just made really well written comedy here, because all of the jokes are just timed perfectly, where you just watch the episode at the moment that something happens, it has to happen exactly that way, and it just works perfectly in that manner. You've also got this really charming, really, uplifting, well, let me try and explain this a bit better, but the theme song, it just gives you this warm feeling in your body where you're like, do 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 do, yes, I'm watching the show, watching the series, here we go, right? It's got that kind of feeling to it, and I love that about the show. And the episodes are 20 minutes long, so there's no beating around the bush. It gets straight to the point. It gives you what you want, really. And I could go on for a while about the show, because there is quite a few good moments in here with, like, there's especially like the final episode where they're planning to go to America, and what happens is, Father Creeley, he really just doesn't want to go to America, because he realises, I don't want to go to America because I want to stay where I was meant to be. And if you know about other sitcoms and things like that, the big thing with these sitcoms is the final episode, it just pretty much summarises like, hey, this is just a show about nothing. It's just about a few situations that happen, and that's it, really. And that's what I really like about the show, is that it's able to be self-aware, able to realise that it's just a silly, funny, gimmick type of show. And there is another episode in here where they think that Father Creeley, he is a bit racist, and I'm not going to go too much into this because it might be kind of controversial, but back in the 90s there was this episode in this series where, Father Creeley does some pretty strange things, and he gets up to some bother with a type of nationality of people, and it's a really funny episode. I kind of equate it to the Soup Nazi episode in Seinfeld, where they just went off the rails, they went crazy, they did as much as they could to entertain you in the time that they had to be able to film the show and things. So There's so many ways in which we can describe the show. There's also a Christmas special, like the Father Ted Christmas special, where they go into the department store and all of that, and yeah, there's just a lot to talk about. But overall, I just think it's a good show with a really catchy theme song that makes you feel warm inside. It's got this good feeling to it, good charm to it. It was made with passion. It was like passion over profit, where they didn't care about the budget, they didn't care about, you know, the big production value, they didn't care about a big studio stepping in and taking the rights and all that. Like, there's none of that, like back in the day in the 90s. Like, none of that happened. They just made a show. You didn't need to think too much about it. And so you definitely get that with Father Ted, and that is what I would say about Father Ted. It's just a comforting show to watch that you could just watch forever. Like, if you want to watch it, I'm gonna go back and watch a few episodes again at some point, because it just has this thing to it where if you ever feel down or you don't feel like, you know, you're in the right mood or anything, you just turn that on and you're like, oh yeah, absolutely, I'm getting in the mood. Or even if you had a good day at work or whatever, like, you could still just enjoy this experience of watching the show. So there's so many ways I can describe Father Ted. Like, it is a solid, I would say that this is probably a solid like 9 out of 10 for me. Obviously it has some things where you could argue, oh, this is not what you would, how you would put things into perspective for the new age. And you know, it's obviously got, it's timely, it's in a specific time period of when it was filmed. So it's not a perfect show, but the way it actually does everything, it does it so masterfully that, you know, even trying to rate the series is a challenge, because you know, the rating out of 10 doesn't matter, because this is just an amazing show. Right, I've said enough. Go watch Father Ted if you haven't already. I mean, I didn't even know what Father Ted was, because I'm pretty sure, like, you know, I was in New Zealand and things like that, and so I didn't get a chance to watch it until just like the past while there. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this review. Stay tuned for more like this one, and I will see you for another review on the James Ramblin Reviews. Bye. That's my impression of the Father Ted intro. So yeah, bye. That's it. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. It's time for another episode of the James Ramblin Reviews coming to you live on the channel. Okay, I've said enough now. Bye.